welcome back. My name is Taylor Chandler. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I help people break negative relationship patterns. I help you do that by understanding your attachment style. Today, we're going to talk about the anxious-preoccupied type. But before we do, I'm going to give you just a couple of reminders. You know me. So first, remember that attachment can show up differently in different contexts. So you might find yourself showing up this way in romantic relationships, but you don't show up this way in friendships or at work. Okay, attachment can be different across contexts. Attachment is also malleable. We can change things about our attachment. We can heal our attachment. So when you're hearing some things as we're going through the AP type, the anxious preoccupied type, you might hear some things that sound negative because they're associated with negative experiences that you've had or that others have had of you. So when that happens, sometimes we feel some shame about it. Sometimes we feel frustrated with ourselves, and sometimes we feel like we want to hide or click off of the screen. So this is an important thing to remember, okay? When you hear something negative, this is an opportunity for you to be empowered to be able to take that information, and we know then where to go in our one-on-one work, okay? So attachment is malleable. You are not stuck as long as you are willing to try. As long as you are willing to put the effort in and invest that time and attention and really get into the work within yourself, you can heal and change your attachment, how you're showing up for yourself and how you show up to the world, okay? So let's talk about what the anxious preoccupied type is. We're going to talk about some triggers. From there, some common pitfalls of the anxious preoccupied type as they're going through this journey to shift to their secure attachment. And then we'll talk about how you can heal, okay? Some really practical ways for you to move forward. So first, here, what is it? The anxious preoccupied type often takes on the burden of the relationship and usually feels that they have no other choice. The anxious preoccupied type is often partnered. And when I say partnered, I don't just mean romantically, although that happens, right? And I don't just mean romantically. I mean in friendships or in work or with family, partnered. So the other person, they often experience themselves as taking on the burden and as if they have no choice because they're often partnered with people who are doing less. Okay, the anxious preoccupied type is taking on the burden of the responsibility for keeping the relationship going, and so often is finding themselves exhausted and resentful. The anxious preoccupied type ruminates over the relationship. What did I do wrong? I'm going over the conversation. The anxious preoccupied type, the AP. I'm going over the conversation in my mind or reading over the text messages. Okay, seeing where I might have went wrong or trying to figure out what the other person might be perceiving or thinking about me. Okay, ruminating about the relationship, and it's usually not in a positive way, like all of the things that are going right. It's typically all of the things that might be going wrong or that will go wrong or that have gone wrong. And so ruminating about negative things in the relationship, okay? Projecting a lot of those fears and negative feelings towards the other person without actually checking to see if that other person is having that same experience or not. The anxious preoccupied type usually jumps to conclusions, okay? So let's just segue right into that. Jumping to conclusions. You must be leaving me. They're usually about rejection and abandonment. You must be getting ready to leave me. You must find someone else more interesting than me. You must find that thing more important than me. Jumping to conclusions, filling in the blanks for the other person without actually checking. Now, let's see. I want to make sure that I make this note. Oftentimes, remember that the AP is often partnered with people who are doing less, which includes communicating less or not as clear with their feelings or expressive with their emotions as the AP is or as the AP would like. Usually it's both, right? So it's not that the other person is willingly giving openly giving information that is helpful and the AP is just ignoring it. Often they are truly with people who are not giving information to help to fill in the blanks, okay? So both of those things compound the effect and make a problem. We're going to talk about the anxious avoidant partnership in a separate course, okay? So it's not that the other person is not helping this dynamic to go wrong, okay, to go poorly, but what we're doing in this course that we're on, that with this AP, okay, with this video, we want to focus just on the anxious preoccupied person side. And the reason why I like to do that is so that you can see what is yours all on your own, okay, without considering how someone is making you do something. It's important to remember that our attachment system exists in us before other people get involved, okay? Meaning that if they leave or when they leave, we're bringing that attachment system with us. And so it's important for you to know how your attachment system works, regardless of who is in front of you. Okay, think you with me? So I have some jump to conclusions. Here's another one, last thing, and then we'll move forward, okay? The anxious preoccupied type often expunges their anxiety. They often explode with negative feelings. They often come out and try to grab somebody with their negative feelings to try to get that person to help soothe those negative feelings that are coming up inside. Okay, so I expunge my anxiety. I go outward with these negative feelings in hopes that I can get someone to come and help me. Okay, I often feel very alone, and that I feel that I am taking on all of this burden myself, and I need someone to know. And I'm hoping that by me expressing these emotions in this way, that it will be an appeal to you to come towards me. When unfortunately, for the AP, that often pushes people away or doesn't get them the care or the response that actually satisfies. Okay, so those are some of the cornerstones of the anxious preoccupied type. We're going to talk about what triggers the anxious preoccupied type next.